Two people owe the exact same amount of money, same income, same monthly payment, but one of them ends up debt-free sooner and gets to keep money the other person simply hands over to the bank. They didn't earn more. They didn't get lucky. They just paid their debts in a different order. And here's the uncomfortable part. Most people don't actually have an order. They pay whichever bill shows up first, or whichever balance feels the biggest, or whichever one is stressing them out that week. But that's not a strategy, that's random. And random can quietly cost you more, sometimes a lot more. So let's test your instinct. Say you have two debts. One is $500 on a credit card at 20% interest. The other is $10,000 on a loan at 5%. Which one do you attack first? Most people say the $10,000. It's the scary one. Others say the $500. It feels like the easy win, but the interest rate, not the balance, is what decides where you aim first. That small $500 debt at 20% is quietly more dangerous per dollar than the $10,000 debt at 5%. So you attack the 20% first. This is the method that turns that instinct into a system. It's called the debt avalanche, and it runs on one simple idea. Not all debt is equal. The balance tells you how much you owe, and yes, a bigger balance means more interest in total. But the interest rate tells you which debt is costing you the most for every dollar you carry. That's the one the avalanche hits first. Here's how it works. List every debt you have, from the highest interest rate at the top to the lowest at the bottom. Then pay the minimum on all of them so nothing slips. You're not ignoring the smaller debts. You're just not overpaying them out of guilt. Because every guilt dollar you throw at a low-rate debt is a dollar that isn't killing your most expensive one. Then take every extra dollar you have and aim it at the debt at the very top, the highest rate, until it's gone. One caveat before you start. If a debt is overdue, about to trigger a serious penalty, or puts your home, your vehicle, or essential services at immediate risk, deal with that first. The avalanche is for debts that are current and under control, not the ones already on fire. Now here's the part that makes it accelerate. When that first debt disappears, you don't pocket the payment. You roll it down onto the next debt in line, so the amount you're attacking with doesn't stay the same. It grows. Each debt you eliminate makes the next one fall faster. The payment cascades downward, picking up speed like an avalanche. By consistently aiming at your most expensive debt, you starve the interest that hurts you most before it has time to pile up. Let's make it real. Imagine $2,000 sitting on a credit card at 24%. On a static balance, that's roughly $480 in first-year interest. Money for nothing. Now scale that up to $15,000 at 19%, and clearing it a couple of years sooner can keep a few $1,000s in your pocket instead of the bank's. The exact number depends on your balances, your rates, and how much extra you can put in. But the pattern holds. Under normal repayment conditions, attacking the highest rate first typically leaves you paying the least interest overall. Now, the honest catch. On paper, the avalanche is the mathematically efficient path. But you're not a spreadsheet. If your highest rate debt is also your biggest debt, it can take a long time before a single account fully disappears. And that's often the exact moment people lose heart. There's a reason for that. When we're juggling several debts, we're naturally pulled toward closing the small ones first, just to reduce the number hanging over us. Researchers call this debt account aversion. It feels like progress, and it can quietly pull you away from the cheaper path. The fix is simple. Keep the interest cost where you can see it. When you know what each debt is really charging you, it's easier to stay focused on the one that hurts the most. Because here's the shift that matters most. We're trained to measure progress by debts closed. 3 accounts gone feels like winning. But the avalanche is really chasing something quieter, the interest you never pay. There's no notification when you avoid a cost. Nothing lights up on a statement. But the money that would have slowly bled out as interest, year after year, simply stays with you. Debts closed is what it looks like. Interest saved is what it actually is. So, if you're motivated by logic, and you can stay disciplined without needing constant quick wins, the avalanche is usually your cheapest way out, and the math is on your side. But if you know you need those quick wins to keep going, there's a second method. one built on psychology instead of math. That's the snowball, and that's next week. If something just clicked, subscribe to Wealth Decoded. Every week, we decode one financial idea that can change how you build your future. See you then.